Hey guys, welcome back in. Today we're talking about the power of focus and staying in the game regardless of what's going on externally.
I think this is a perfect time for this kind of conversation. And, you know, we're seeing not only chaos and everything else going on, but in our market too, we're having a little bit of a change. We're having a lot of conversations with our realtor partners about what we're seeing, what's out there. And I think we broke like you were just saying, 7,000 homes on the market.
That's a big change.
That's a big change.
For the last 5 years, that's monumental.
Yeah, and I think when, you know, things go on and there's chaos and externals, it's really hard for us to stay focused because it kind of gives us the excuse out of like, well, why would I work? Shit's hitting the fan. What would I do?
Like the fuck it button is right there.
It's right there. Like the big red, I think of the
why?
Office Depot red button.
For who? For what? Like it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's easy to lull ourselves to sleep on the activities we know we should be doing now is the time to be more consistent than ever, to educate more than ever, to put your narrative in the mind of the client more than ever because they need guidance more than ever.
Well, and I think we were talking about this week. You know, real estate is always a battlefield of emotions, deals going sideways, rates going up, rates going down. There's always adversity in our real estate industry. And I think as people in the real estate industry, we are some of the most adaptable people because we're always changing with what we have to do with the market. And I think with the chaos and everything going on, chaos is super noisy. Yeah. But focus is pretty quiet. Like when you're focused, when you're down in it, you're pretty quiet because you're not thinking of all the chaos going on. I
mean, just sticking to your modus operandi, your metrics for the day, the things that you know, even if it's
Can you say what that is again?
MO, like, you know, when you say that's his MO, that's modus operandi, the manner in which they operate. So you have your...
Sorry. Moment here.
I read a lot of books and I know some things.
I hear MO and I've always just called it MO.
Yeah.
Learning things, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I got the Latin pronunciation right.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, like I take our business, right? Like we have 20 to 40 calls. We have usually 3 consults and probably like a leveraged event where we go to a lunch and learn or a happy hour, a photo shoot with clients, etc. And that's just what we do, right? And so right now when there's core rattling events going on around us, like the news cycle, like tariffs and wars and ceasefires, it's easy to indulge and say, well, this gives me leave of all this normalcy because there's chaos ensuing in the world around us. And it's actually time to like put your blinders on, put your fingers in your ears and stay consistent because with all that's going on, the changeless core about who we are and what we do is going to bring the consistency and the calm to our customers. And calm is contagious, right? Like think of the Navy SEALs when the bullets are flying and the shit's really hitting the fan. Who do you send? You send the Navy SEALs because they chunk it down to the 5 feet around them. What do I control? What do I understand? What can I do? Yeah. Right. And that's how we have to operate in chaos with the market trending towards a buyer's market. So the leverage points are going to change. Sometimes you have the hammer, sometimes you don't. The sellers have had the hammer since COVID for sure, right? And so now the buyers have more leverage, more of a leg to stand on. And so let's educate. Let's talk about that. Let's go through that whole buyer pipeline and say, hey, things have swung. The pendulum has swung in your favor. It's a really good time to be a buyer in San Diego.
Especially with interest rates still being pretty, I mean, we kind of all adjusted, but they're still pretty remotely high for a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know, so with having that kind of leverage, there's so much more opportunity for those buyers to do getting seller credits, getting buy downs, getting really creative on how to save money on their monthly payments and get a lower sales price without having, like, I just think right now is the real negotiation time, which is awesome. Like I love that part of the business of the negotiations. Hey, I'm working for my client. I want what's best for mine. But also I know what you want to get what's best for your client. So let's find a way to meet in the middle right now.
A win-win.
It's a win-win. And I feel like right now is when the true negotiators and the true players will step up because they really know how to work these deals. And
the true professionals.
True professionals. And they know how to work these deals and navigate and have those conversations on, hey, let's meet in the middle here. Let's get the best of both.
I mean, I remember you started with 2017, 2018, and then I remember seeing trips to Hawaii on the MLS if you bring us a buyer. I remember seeing pickup trucks. I remember the sellers would incentivize, just come show my place. Like, trips to Cabo for offers submitted, didn't even have to close. Like, so, you know, and now for so long, buyer's agents have been like, doing what they've had to do to get their offer even presented, right?
Yeah.
And 21 for sure, people just writing sight unseen, 100,000 over asking.
Giving you my firstborn.
Yeah.
Everything.
Indentured servitude for 10 years, or whatever it took. So now the pendulum swung a little bit now. I mean, two fair-sided, a transaction should be two people that have equal amounts of leverage and come to a win-win scenario. That's what we're in, and maybe trending towards buyers having more leverage, and that's okay. Now we pull out the old playbook and okay, where are the buyers at? How do we get buyers? Right?
We have a whole plan for that.
Yes,
we have a whole
we do.
system for that we wrote in that time period.
2019, we did a video. Where are the buyers at?
Where are the buyers at? And things have shifted a little bit, have changed. But I think that's also one of the beauties of this industry, that we all know that it's cyclical. Everything's always going to change. It's going to go back to the sellers. It's going to go back to the buyers. There's going to be a moment where it's right in the middle, which I think we're kind of at right now, where it's both, because sellers can still get a great price for their homes, still get everything that they need. But now buyers aren't having to give up their blood type. They have a little more to look at before they're just like, yeah, let's throw in 100,000 over.
Isn't it healthy that they should have many homes to go out and see and choose from? Like, what if you went to Nordstrom and they had one pair of shoes and it was crazily overpriced and you needed a pair of shoes? What were you going to do about it, right? Yeah. It's healthier to have a nice array of options that you can go tour the property, show, think about it, ponder, and not feel under the gun writing that offer.
Yeah, well, and I think it's nice for all of us, even for the agents too, because now you can really build the relationships. You can say, hey, this is where we're at. There's more education involved. There's more hand-holding. There's more conversations with your sellers, more conversations with the buyers, educating sellers a little bit too on what's going on. And I like what you said way earlier, though, going back to the Navy SEALs and Marines and going to what we can control, because so many things are out of our control. I cannot control what is happening out in the world. That, as much as we wish we could, we cannot control any of that. Yeah. But what I can control is how I show up for my people, like how I am there for them, how I bring some kind of positivity into this negative cycle, because not saying that we're completely ignorant to what's going on. Like, we pay attention. We know what's going on. But I don't obsess over it. I don't sit there and ponder. I'm like, okay, great. I see that. I can't do anything about it. Let's move on and let me get to things that I can control. Yeah. So it's not like, we hear that sometimes people are like, well, don't you know what's going on? And it's like, yeah, I'm educated enough to know that I don't need to know anymore on that, because I can't do anything about it.
Well, if I focus on the problem gets bigger.
Yeah.
If I focus on the solution gets bigger, right? Where my focus, that word again, goes, energy flows. So I can...
Ooh, the old Tony Robbins
right?
line.
Dropping that. I'm just going to put that right there. Yeah. But so where am I focusing? Because yes, I'm aware of what's going on. Yes, I'm aware that there are urgent needs around the globe and that there's some stuff happening. But I got to do a quick litmus test on what can I do about it. I can't control foreign affairs. I can't control markets. I can't, if it was up to me, I probably would have forgot to bring the sun up this morning, and I wouldn't have put it down last night. So thank God that we're not running the universe. We'd be screwed. We'd be screwed. So what can I control? My attitude, my availability, my activities, what I'm letting in here. And so...
Ooh, that's a big one.
Right.
What are we letting in? I think a lot of people need that little, especially me sometimes. I know all of us, we go in those little downward spirals, but it's important to know, like, we're in control of what we're looking at.
Yeah, we are what we eat.
I'm in control of my algorithm, okay?
Yeah, well, and we are what we eat, but we are what we consume.
Yep.
And it weaves its way into your narrative. And the most impressionable thing that we are, the most influential thing is how we talk to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm watching Fox or CNN or whatever propaganda we choose to turn on that day, it's going to weave itself into how we talk to ourselves. And that's a lot of negativity, right? Because if it wasn't urgent and scary and meteor's going to hit the planet, then they couldn't sell the ads and make the money, which is really what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. We have no feeling on that. It is what it is. We're apolitical. But when I spend time on what can I do, who can I talk to and help today?
Yeah.
How can I do it better? How can I find better ways, better systems? What can I put in here that's going to inspire, positivity in me, so maybe I can bring positivity to another person who needs it that day. And I think that's a better way to position yourself.
Yeah, I definitely think listening to podcasts and doing that is way better than listening or scrolling, doom scrolling, anything like that. And so I think it's a great time for us to really check in and see what are our systems. Who's in our business that's been there helping us? Who is really supporting us? How can we come up with a plan to really stay consistent, to hit daily numbers, to hit, and whether it's, we're not saying go out and make a bunch of prospecting calls, like call some friends, check in with some people, just say, how the hell are you doing? Like,
host a happy hour.
Yeah.
Have human contact with people. And you know what? Emma said this on the ride. She said, do stuff that you like.
Yeah.
If you're not getting joy out of it, you're not going to do it for long.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
this life is short. I think we only have one go around.
So if you're like, I hate the phone, okay, cool. Go knock on some doors. Go to some networking events. Go to a couple meetups with attorneys that can send you business. There's other ways to skin a cat, right?
Yeah. Go to other networking events that you are interested in. It doesn't have to be real estate networking events. Like, if you love building ceramics and making pottery, join a freaking pottery class and meet people there, because you're going to meet people that like what you do, and like you have the conversations. Because what's one of the first things that when you're meeting somebody new, what's one of the first questions?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do?
Right.
What do you do?
And then you find your tribe.
Yeah, and
So
you find your people.
If you go fake the funk, it's something that you're not about, but you think it's cool, so you want people to think you're cool. So you go to pickleball and like, oh, I'm going to be the new pickleball star, but you hate freaking pickleball. That's just not being authentic.
Is that you?
No, I actually like it.
Do you hate pickleball?
I love pickleball. I just don't have time for another hobby.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm self-aware. But if you go and you're like want to nerd out on Dungeons and Dragons or something, and that's your jam, like go find your tribe.
Dude, I will go LARPing with you. Let's
go LARP. Like vote for Pedro.
Renaissance Fair. I'm down.
Was it that? What's the name of that movie? Vote for Pedro.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Do they LARP in that movie?
No.
Which one am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Role Models.
Role Models.
Where they get in trouble. They have to do community service.
It was so funny. With Paul Rudd, right?
Yeah. That's a great movie. Yes. And they go LARPing, and then they turn into Kiss, and they show up at the Renaissance Fair all like dressed up as Kiss. Yes, great movie. If you haven't watched Role Models.
So if LARPing or underwater basket weaving or if whatever's your jam, go recognize that, be self-aware. And that's the other thing she said, is go find your tribe. Go find your tribe and people that give you energy instead of sucking your energy.
Yes.
Because there are plenty around in the next cubicle next to you, over by the water cooler in the break room.
Deborah in accounting.
Deborah in accounting is coming for me. And guess what? All those are energy vampires. But when you're like doing something that you're about, whether it's a running club, pickleball club, underwater basket weaving, LARPing, whatever, go do that, because that's going to raise your battery, charge your batteries.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think going in, because it's going to raise your batteries, you're going to be excited to do it, so you'll do more of it. Yeah. And you'll make those more connections. And we are pack animals. We need human connections. And right now, there's a lot of people isolating. A lot of people are putting themselves in an isolation bucket because they don't know what to do. And so if you can be the person to help pull it out or give them that kind, and if you're one of those people too, call a friend, call somebody, because right now is not the time to isolate.
Call us, call somebody, because you're right. And that's part of the things that we have to kind of hedge, is that we do look around for affirmation of what we're doing is correct, because we are pack animals. And so we judge others. That's why we're so observant of what other people are doing, and kind of comparison is a byproduct of that and all those things. So we have to hedge that a little bit and say, who am I spending time with?
Yeah.
Because if I'm the average of the 5 people I spend the most time with, who am I? That's a kind of a valuable thing, right? So who the heck am I hanging out with? Because it's going to make its way into, over time, people will continue to spew their opinions, and you're going to start seeing their side of it, and it's going to acclimate into your own opinions. And that's scary, considering what some people are believing out there right now.
Yeah, well, and we all know the person, right? We all know that one person that you kind of are like, I don't really want to hang out with this guy. Like, they don't really help benefit in any way. We all know those people. So it's okay to kind of like not spend as much time with them. Yeah. The people that are all wrapped up in the negative news cycle, and always, how do you know somebody's watching the news? You'll know. They'll tell you.
It's like CrossFit, right?
Yeah. How do you know someone does CrossFit? They'll tell you.
They're going to tell you they do CrossFit.
But, I think it's time to really recognize, who are we spending time with? What are our controllables? What are we focusing on? Because like Tony Robbins said, what you focus on, your energy goes to. And so we really have to control that, especially in times of chaos, turmoil, on shit that we really can't control. But I can control who I'm spending time with. I can control what I'm putting in here. I can control what I'm doing and how I'm doing it too. And I think those are really important things in it. These are the kind of times I think that really show people, I don't want to say like true colors, but really show people like they're in it to really care for people. They really, really help people, not just people that are like out there for themselves right now. You know?
Well, and we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. So if you want any ideas on a morning routine that will help you bring your best version of yourself today, or relieving a lot of that angst and stress that's out there, other than with normal coping mechanisms that we see out in our culture today, some positive, grounded type stuff that we do, we're happy to share that. But one thing that I thought of recently is I heard somewhere is like, that friend or that past client that you haven't heard from in a while, call them. Say, how are you?
Yeah.
I did that Tuesday?
Yeah.
And what happened? She had an email up with a new listing and was sending it to us to open title.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't believe you're calling me right now. We hadn't talked in a year.
That's
over a year. And I'm like, I wonder how Marlene's doing. Boom. It's funny.
Yeah.
The universe is funny.
The universe will give you the clues. It will definitely tell you. But that's so true. It's like those people that you're like, man, or even the people like, we all had great friends during COVID. We had drinking buddies, working out buddies, walking buddies. Like, I remembered like my little complex during COVID. I actually created one of my best friendships, and like she's my sister, and we're like, we talk every single day, and that started from COVID. Yeah. But there's people
cool
that you had in COVID that now you're like, what the hell happened to those people? Where are they?
Yeah, maybe drop a line. Drop a line to that person.
And guess what? Phones work 2 ways.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, people.
Oh, yeah, when you feel that guilt, like, oh, my God, it's been 3 years. Like, hey, get over it. They could have called you too. Be the one. Mm-hmm. And that might be the call that gets them out of a rut, that pulls them out of, like, the downward spiral. Like, because when people are isolating, it gets scary. Mm-hmm. Fast.
Yeah, it gets scary fast. So we have ideas and tactics on how to stay focused right now. Yeah. I really like our 3 little ones that we had. I think it was,
Oh, the triad.
Something
Purpose.
To help stay focused.
Okay, so I have it here. Purpose, who you're serving. Process, rely on your systems. Presence, stay where your feet are. So purpose, process, presence.
And then I think it was like it gave us 3 tactical ways to do that. And the first thing was gratitude. The very first thing was write down 3 things you're grateful for, how to stay focused, and how to get out of that chaoticness of, hey, what are just a couple things you're grateful for? And it could be, I was able to put on shoes this morning. I was able to get out and go walk my dog this morning. Like, there's people who can't do that. And I know that sounds like mundane and like pretty simple, but there are people who didn't wake up that morning or can't put their shoes on because they don't have feet to put them on. Things like that, Mm-hmm. So we have to write down 3 things we're grateful for. And I think, what was the second one on there? It was, that was the first one was, and then one was like having a little affirmation of like a sticky note. I really liked the sticky note. I was like, oh, I'm going to put that on the back of my phone, or I'm going to put that on. Because if you look at your phone, if you look at your background, shows you what you're on there, and sometimes people have family photos, things like that, but imagine having a saying that just said stay in it.
Daily focus, gratitude, non-negotiable service, mental reset routine, breath work, movement, music, podcast.
So we talk about that ad nauseum. Like, those are
only every day.
You guys, this wasn't coming from us. We did research on this. We were like, what is ways that people can stay focused and how to bring them out of that negativity spiral? The first thing was gratitude. That was not from us. That was not us coming up.
That's Rob. That's Tony. That's Dean. That's like
all
Ed.
The other guys out there. And then the second one is...
Well, and I love gratitude. Yes. Sorry to stop you.
No, you do.
Because if you recognize what's good, you invite more of what's good, mm-hmm. right? If you need something to be grateful for, bombs are not dropping in San Diego today, right? And we were on the wake up list this morning. Yeah. So like grateful, right? Mm-hmm. And then what was the mental reset routine? Deep breathing can calm the heart rate and deliver oxygen to the prefrontal cortex, which is your thinking and emotional side of your brain. So do that. And then like if you're frustrated or you want to throw your laptop through the window, go take a walk. Like
go punch a pillow.
Punch a pillow.
Yeah, go scream into a pillow, punch a pillow. Like, don't punch anybody. Go punch a pillow. Like,
I heard everything's smaller under the sky. Go stand under the sky.
Yeah. Or another great Tony Robbins line. What does he say? Where it's like, oh shit, I just had it and it just escaped me. It'll come back to me.
Okay, what's the visual reminders? Oh, the sticky note.
Change your physiology, change your state.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. I'm like, why does that
If you change your physical state, you'll change your emotional state, right?
So, like you said, get under the sky. Go on a walk.
Oh, yeah.
Do some freaking jumping jacks. Do some, if you're angry and you're pissed, do some push-ups. Like, get it out. Like, change.
Get a heavy bag, you know, you move weights around. I'd go for a run. Like you have to have responses to this. And it's like the polar bear that gets shot with the tranquilizer and then they put a little tag on him. And after he comes to, what does he do?
He shakes it off.
He shivers and shakes for like a minute. It's like a mini little seizure because he's getting the stress out.
Yeah.
And then he takes a deep breath and then he goes on his way being a polar bear.
Yeah. I mean, even dogs, if you have dogs, when you hear your dog sigh or do deep breaths, they are fully relaxed at that. That is their way of saying like, I'm fully relaxed.
Dude, Rocco shakes it off all the time, and then he breathes like that because he's a COVID dog.
Yeah.
Super anxious. Like the guy needs, what's it called when you give anxious people? Prozac.
My vet gives Luna when we travel puppy Xanax.
That Xannies. He needs a Papa Xanny like every day. That poor dog is so anxious, and I always see him like I'd be petting him and loving him, and he's like shakes it off, and then. So anyway, nature has a lot of answers for us too. But I love that. Get grateful. You'll get a mental reset regimen, because look, it's tough, man. We live in some interesting times and it's easy to get swept away, and we run into that just like everybody else. But when we don't know what to do, we know where to go. We go back to our routine, back to our, or am I hydrated? Have I eaten? Have I slept?
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you have to do it with me when you're like, hey, let's take a deep breath here. Let's take a deep breath. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, here he goes again.
But I know he's right. And I do, because I do. He's got more wiser on me, I didn't want to say older. You got more years on me, but you're wiser.
Yeah, I'm old.
But it's like, so I have to listen to him because he's right. He's gone through this shit before. He's done this thing. He's seen this movie play out
Well, in
before.
2008, I did not have these tools or skill set. In 2020, I did. And so a different Ryan emerged, right? And we just continue learning, and nobody's got it perfect. I'm going to have shitty days where I'm just freaking out and I'm going to have other Zen days. And that's just part of being human.
Yeah. Congratulations. You're human.
Right. Flawed. Still flawed. Deeply flawed here.
Yes. And then I think the last thing was just like a sticky note, right? Like affirmation, like we were saying. What are we saying to ourselves? What are we telling ourselves? If we have a sticky note on your phone or on wherever you're looking on your mirror in the morning that just says stay in it, that's a good reminder of like, you know what? I'm still here. I still got this chance of life. I'm going to stay in this fight. Like, this is where I'm at. So I think that's really cool that when you think about like, because it's like, people are like, stay in it. But no, it's more about like, hey, we got one shot at this thing. I'm going to try to hit at many milestones and be as best as I can, as fast as I can, and as quickly, have those things. And I think it's just easy during these times to really, like you said, hit the fuck it button and be like, not today.
So like one thing I do to not hit the fuck it button is I chunk it down to the next moment. Like, is this moving me towards my goal or away from my goal? Is going to the bar for the rest of the day going to help me achieve what I'm trying to be? Or is going to the phones or going to see clients or doing this video going to help me towards that? And if I chunk it down to just the next thing, because then I'm not in next Tuesday, I'm not in where interest rates are, I'm not into the future, I'm just right here. And you get a bunch of micro decisions like that, they add up to a day, to a week, to a life. So chunk it down to this moment.
Well, I've heard you say recently, you're like, if it's either not with my clients or making me money, or if I'm not with my family, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, that's so good, because two things. If it's either doing that or that, makes it simple, right? It makes decisions simple. Like,
it's black or white.
Yeah, it makes decisions. So have your decision making. What's your meter? If it's doing this or doing this, is it putting you on the path of where you want to go? Because we all have choices. We all have decisions we can make. We can either make decisions to go backwards or stay where we're at, or we can make decisions to change. And I'll use my line, well, we don't change, we choose.
Ooh, so good. So good every time. Well, we just wanted to go over that with you because we're feeling it. Others must be feeling it. We're all humans, all have the same shit that we suffer from right in here. So please reach out if you want any ideas on how to deal with all this stuff we covered.
How to stay focused during this time.
We do it with you guys. We are on the journey together, so we're happy to chat with you guys about it anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is coffee, not wine. I'm Haley.
I'm Ryan. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.